Pre-show banter, right? Isn't
Oh,
pre-show
That's right.
banter?
It's
We
warm
show
up.
up early because you show up early.
But we're showing up on time.
Oh well, man. I
We're
guess,
on
yeah.
time.
This is the news, right?
Well,
All
yeah.
right, we're officially live, but we haven't started the newscast.
Oh.
So, hello, everybody.
I'm trying
Good
to
Oh, there's the
topics.
clock, the grandfather clock that confirms the time.
Facebook probably has your phone number. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I'm always embarrassed when it goes off in the middle of a meeting or something. So
It's got.
Didn't
that
we
nice
know
calming
Facebook had
charm
our
to it,
phone number
though.
like 10 years ago?
Yeah, right. Like the
Yeah.
moment you installed that app, you just imagine it's got everything, even if you
Yeah.
didn't click.
Well,
You don't even
you
have
don't-
to install it.
No.
It's like it's the yellow pages. They just have you now. That's
Yeah.
well, and
I'm in the
and
book.
besides, one of the things that they used to and still routinely do is they go through and index all of your contacts.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
I'm
that
jealous
was
because
that was
Mark
big
never
hula
called
like
me.
10 years ago. He never called you personally?
And Zuckerberg never called me, but he has my phone number. I'm bothered.
Oh man, what a waste.
See how he is. Never called.
the rim
never
shot?
writes. Even the metaverse is going downhill, and it hasn't even gotten launched properly.
Yeah.
I really like I have 2 VR headsets. I really like VR, but like
Me
there
too.
isn't that killer app yet, or the
No.
freeness behind it isn't there. But I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Half-Life Alyx is like game changing. Like if you want to play a game, highly suggest
Yeah, I've got
it.
one of the VR headsets. I don't do much game playing on it so far. It's just been sort of a fun little toy to mess around with, but nothing game changing.
I played
Yeah,
Rogue.
I watch
they need-
movies with my niece.
Ha, game changing.
Ah! All right.
I watch Prime with my
Somebody
niece.
got
and everything.
This may be more blue team oriented this week.
Blue team, red team. What does it matter? We're all team. Let's go.
All
You're
right,
ready. He's ready. All right, that
He's
means
the
you're
host now.
hosting.
He just classified as
Oh,
host.
no,
He's
wait,
ready. Noah, get on. We need you to host. Noah, get on.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's not going to get on.
Noah.
There. We have a late bloomer.
Oh, look
Of
who's
course.
There
finally
we
here.
go.
Sorry, I was doing my hair. Sorry, fashionably late.
Check your settings. Check your settings.
You're
Looks
currently
fantastic.
potato quality.
It looks like you were out cutting wood or something.
The lumberjack flow right now.
He's got
is
the
pretty
lumberjack.
hard. Even this
You
is
guys
like-
Okay. Can you hear me?
Is it-
Yeah.
Yes.
you're good.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
your video quality immediately
I
jumped
said
to
I was
11.
doing my hair, trying to look all glamorous. I was fashionably late.
Okay.
Apparently, I was actually chopping wood, though. Sorry.
Yeah,
The
that's what it
flannel
looks like.
confirms it.
There we go.
Wade, what happened?
You ready?
What happened to your face?
So I was wondering. I was waiting to see. I did reverse Movember. I shaved. No more
So
mustache.
it's always shave November. So you-
Always shave November. Oh my god. Some stuff got canceled, and so I was like, you know what?
More
It's
shave
time for
November.
this mustache to go away. Like a mustache of that caliber takes prep and handiwork, and it's just not worth it in the long run. My wife actually yelled at me, so if that helps out anyone.
I like how much you feel the need to justify it. It shows how much people have like really grown accustomed to the mustache.
There's
It
too many
really
mustache
comes down
jokes.
to
in
my
this.
wife yelled at me.
Yeah. No. Okay. She yelled at me because I shaved it. She wanted me to keep it.
Oh,
Yeah. Because here's the funny part. If I have that caterpillar mustache, it matches the caterpillar eyebrows and evens out my face. So if you ever see me in person, my eyebrows are quite larger than what they appear on film. So there you go.
I would say they
guess you can
appear
see
pretty
them on a
strong on film.
Groucho Marx status. I can't do the. I can't.
At least you're not. At least you're not bald.
You just jinxed me. Thanks a lot. I'm gonna
No.
start going bald right after this
Studies show that bald men are seen as like really, authoritarian and decisive, and so it's fine.
Oh, and here's
what?
Ralph.
What? He's alive. He hasn't been here.
We definitely weren't in the same meeting or anything. It's fine.
That's not true. We were
Oh,
talking.
All right, you can roll the finger, Ryan.
Oh, the finger.
I don't know. Who's
no.
hosting?
I
It's
can't.
Ralph,
I
right?
got it.
Ralph is ready.
Or it can be Ralph.
Corey, you got it?
Throw
I'm
Ralph.
not hosting. No.
Throw Ralph in the deep end. We'll host together. Just put us both up. Can you do
Wow,
that?
and Noah shows up. What?
Yo, he's got a new room.
All
I'm
right.
scared. All right, just roll it. Just we'll.
He's
All
not
right,
certified
we're
anymore.
rolling it.
We're winging it.
I get it. Yep.
Are we never?
And welcome to Black Hills Information Security Talk About the News. I'm your host, Corey/me. I actually paid $8 a month to be on this show. Oh, wait, no, that was my Twitter verification status.
Wow.
So
You
that's
did it.
where we're at. We have a star-studded cast
That's why
of
you're a
hosts.
host, because you paid $8.
We have everyone important is on today. We have Ryan, who has somehow found a shady place in Florida, I guess.
It's a
They're all
daylight
shady.
savings time. It's all shady now.
We have BSD Bandit, who's a pixel art.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We have
My
Wade, who
friends Mega Man wanted to
shamefully
join.
and sadly shaved his mustache,
Wow.
but
You're
took
never
all the
gonna
hair
fly
and
a
glued it.
plane.
He took all of his hair and glued it to his eyebrows.
Yeah, so I moved it up, right? So
We have Bronwyn, who Elon Musk is allowing to join us today.
Ooh, you've
No,
been
his
blessed.
minions. His minions.
have you said anything mean to him? Because if you have, you're probably going to
You
lose
may
internet.
lose access.
Yeah, so Bronwyn, after this show, since we're going to discuss the Twitter thing, you might want to get a backup internet rolling.
Oh, I never. No.
Yeah.
I still have the old one on failover.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We also have Mike, who's a regular. We all know Mike. He's got so much stuff in the background. He always looks like he has some. I can't tell if it's snacks or like computer hardware.
oh,
The
no,
answer
so
to that
chocolate
is
covered
yes.
cherries. Yes.
Okay, so it's
No,
snacks
almonds.
and computer.
Almonds.
It's both
Oh,
kinds of chips. Both
Yeah.
kinds of chips.
That was good. That was a good.
We have
Not
Ralph,
micro.
who we don't know if he's bald today or not because he's wearing.
I'm
a hat.
always bald. I just always pretend.
And we have Noah,
I was about
who's
to have
not bald but
company.
is wearing a hat.
I am wearing a hat, and I was guilted into being here. So if I go off camera to go have a coughing fit, that's on you all.
So
you
wait,
were guilted.
what is this-
What was the guilt process like?
Yeah.
Mostly it was Wade saying the security doesn't wait on being sick or something. And
Okay, are you in a different room? Because I remember like all fancy molding in a different room.
no, this
Am I
has
crazy?
always been my office. No, I totally moved offices.
Okay.
How many
I'm not.
how many times have you moved since we've asked you that question?
Well, so like I moved twice in my last house, 2 different
Yep.
rooms, and then
Yeah,
now I've
that
moved
was a
twice
lot.
in this house.
Okay, so I see
it's
you
like
have
a
that
keyboard.
really.
I like to change it up just to
You
keep
have a
all
very
guessing.
rudimentary threat map there behind you. A globe. Is
Yes.
it just?
Pew pew. I don't
Are you
see
gonna
the
like
lights
paint
on
it red as attacks happen?
Yes, like you draw it on with a pen.
Okay.
It's not going to be
There-
laser pointers, automated laser
There's a
pointers.
globe there because usually you know if you've got a globe in their office, it means they're sophisticated or something, right?
Is there
He's
there
got a
secretly
walkie-talkie.
is there secretly booze inside that globe?
Actually, a ham radio wave. Yes,
Ham
you
radio,
could
even
use
better. Now you
Or
should-
it turns red. Have it
That's where
turn
you
red
get
like
the
the old
news.
school red team. 18.
So I think without further ado, I think we should discuss the Twitter. We just missed the bus last week. I think we have to discuss the Twitter thing. So for those that have been living
What's
under
new
a
with
rock,
Twitter?
Twitter is an application. It's brand new. It hasn't been around forever. Where you can tweet 140 characters, and they're all emojis. That's how it works.
Oh.
It's
But
more
no,
than
it's-
140 now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So basically,
Yeah, until
Twitter
Elon in
is-
charge, it's going to be an extra $1 per character.
So Twitter is private. Twitter is private now. It was a publicly traded company, and it is private. And Elon bought it, and he is kind of making big changes. Which I don't know why anyone's surprised by this, because you don't just spend $44 billion and then leave everything the same. But
Sure.
people are fleeing. People are impersonating him. I think the biggest
By
story that we
choice or
should
not.
discuss first is that if you impersonate him, your account gets permanently suspended. That is an
So-
interesting.
So in a world of free
Absolute
speech,
free
that's the first
speech.
line. when you define free speech, you say everything after that is Twitter. If you pretend to be Elon, that's the first rule of Twitter. That's it. All right, we've defined it. The first rule of Twitter: don't pretend to be Elon.
So-
There's the one rule.
Yep, he has laid the law down, and he is not messing around.
It's free speech, except
Unless you go ahead and mark your account as parody.
All right. So just for context,
Which
though,
we're still trying to figure out how to do that.
Okay,
Elon did say that he was going to not make it just totally chaos. Now, the question is, where are the lines, right? He just kind of like said, oh, we're going to have some rules. So what are the rules? Well, we found out one. So
it's whatever makes him mad.
tune in next week for what the next rule is going to be.
It's so. It's,
I mean,
I
All
know.
really low. Is it really that surprising? Well, I mean,
No.
with these platforms, even no matter who they're controlled with, it's like, well, if you're going to speak bad about me or my beliefs, then yeah, I'm not going to let you do that on my platform. That's kind of the thing with them. So
It comes back to the schoolyard, doesn't it? It comes
Yeah,
back
it's-
to, like D-Sync said, I just want people to like me.
yeah,
The sad thing is I actually looked it up, and there is a Twitter rule from pre-Elon that you're not supposed to impersonate somebody. There were no
Interesting.
consequences for it, but there was the rule.
It's like there's a rule you can't walk your lobster on a Tuesday in Maine, but they just use it to arrest people they don't like.
Exactly.
They're like, is that a lobster? The possession of lobsters is illegal.
Should we all change our name to John Strand right now?
Oh my god.
Oh my!
Nothing wrong with think it's funny.
So
Yeah, I will say it is interesting because the it's like the rules are there. Are they enforced? That depends. He has been making heads roll. There's been supposedly 50% of their staff is going to be laid off. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen
already
a lot of
happened.
people.
they already
already
laid off
happened.
a bunch, yeah.
Is it actually 50%?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know
Yeah.
the exact number, but
Well, we don't know the percentage. Yeah.
but we know that it's around 50%. That's kind of the idea, right? Like that's been the proverbial like message that has been brought from people in the know.
Yeah.
And the great part is that they did it so fast they didn't think about who they were letting go. It's like, oh crap, we need to get work done, and so now
I
they're trying to
know.
get people back.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you're
I
this
love
person that
I
he's
love
trying
that.
to rehire, please ask for twice your salary, whatever it was.
Twice?
Okay,
No,
three,
up
4.
it.
Well, and also when you go into the interview, wear shirts that says Mastodon like that.
Change your handle to Elon Musk and then see if he'll hire you back.
So okay. So wait, someone said Mastodon. So now, BSD Bandit. Now explain what is Mastodon other than an extinct thing that doesn't exist anymore.
It's just pretty much it's just a glossed over Twitter. It's just another. Really, it's just a new Twitter. It's like the open source of Twitter.
Is it
call it that.
the founder?
It's a
It's
bit
an open
different than that.
source. Yeah, it's an open source microblogging with multiple instances. There's multiple people out there running it. Each instance can have its own set of rules. Instances can say, "Oh, you're going to be Nazism? Fine, we're not going to let you talk to us." Otherwise, you can talk across the different instances.
So it's like BGP for
everybody's
social
on their
media.
own island. Pretty much.
It's a conglomerate for the most part. It's something that is very raw right now. And I hear a lot of people that have been transferring over, looking at it and not transferring over to it, saying, but I can do this on Twitter, I can do that on Twitter. Twitter didn't have half these features that you love now back when it started off. This is a raw new thing. You want something added to it? You go in there and add it to it. You can add it into the code.
Can we just go back to mail?
And as a user of Mastodon, you can't upload, and this is what I've tested over the weekend. You cannot upload videos from your phone. So I've run into that issue. I've noticed that there's even with your followers don't really get updated, or whoever you follow doesn't get updated until you actually go into the web browser as opposed to the application on your phone. And this is from an iPhone perspective, but it's pretty cool. It's not a bad thing. It is like isolated. So there's an Infosec server, and I guess based on your interest, there's different like servers based on what you're
It's kind
interested
of like
in.
Discord, but with followers, I guess.
Pretty much. In a
It's
roundabout
like
way.
it's like if microblogging went ahead and met Discord, met ahead interoperability between servers.
Oh
Well,
my God,
I think
it's almost like TCP/IP almost. It's weird.
to take
But it doesn't even use blockchain, so can it really be legit?
No.
So one person, Alex Minster, said Mastodon is like email, so many different places. People have to manage their servers, instances, rules. So like email, unlikely to catch on. I'm just going to assume that was a joke. What is a Gmail? Can it talk to an AOL? Yeah. We'll be interested to see what happens. I think to sort of look at it at the business level, advertisers are fleeing Twitter in force because people are demanding they do, because Musk has said this is a place where bad things can be said, basically, to sort of summarize it.
That's not even 100% true when you actually take a look at the metrics on it. They were losing advertisers before Musk took over.
Right.
Anyways, it went down. The lowest point was in August, and it came back up a bit in September. And now all of them are saying, oh, we're pausing until we see what you do with this. It has nothing to do with what Musk is claiming it to be the cause.
So you're saying it's more just about corporate turmoil and turnover, and like the fact that mergers and acquisitions are always weird times. So maybe it's not the best time to buy a huge Twitter ad buy.
Yeah.
I think some of it is that. I think some of it is just a matter of, listen, we put so much money into it beforehand. Now how are they going to moderate stuff? And that, I think, goes back to earlier this year with all the concern about fake news coming through for the elections and trolls. Mm-hmm. And what are we going to do with it? And is it really a good investment on it at this point in time?
So we buy Twitter ad space that only focuses on Elon Musk. So anyone who's viewing Elon Musk, right?
I'd like to target it to billionaires in California or wherever he lives. Yeah.
The different faces, the many faces of Musk?
Someone desynced said, say bad things on Twitter with today's sponsor, ExpressVPN.
That's
pretty good. Yeah, that's who needs to advertise on Twitter. Pretend to be Elon Musk on Mastodon.
So I got two questions. All right. Do we think that any of these, and I'm going to use the word decentralized, like in air quotes here, because Mastodon isn't really like decentralized, but it's just not controlled by one entity, right?
Right.
Do we think any of these social media, by the way, and the reason we're talking about this is like really hard to like get right. And I don't know if you can ever really get it right. You just like, hopefully doesn't turn into a dumpster fire, which we have plenty of examples of that. There's other sites.
I mean, that was how Twitter was before Musk bought it. I mean,
well, either way, do we think that any of these, non-corporate owned, where everyone is in control, platforms are ever going to catch on, or we're only going to, live off these centralized platforms? We are all destined to live off of Google forever or whatever.
It's dying. Social media is dying. Look at all of the big social medias. They're just slowly coming out. The only thing that's got it going is TikTok, right? And I wouldn't even call TikTok
Plus
social
is doing
media.
great.
Google Plus is doing great. Oh my God.
I saw somebody scream, bring back IRC. Somebody screemed that earlier.
IRC never left.
It'll never catch on like email.
You know what we should all really do is join a Discord channel. Maybe an Infosec knowledge sharing Discord channel.
Whoa.
Yes. Oh, there we go.
Slide into my Discord.
Nobody never believes there's such a thing.
Or you spend a little less time on social media, spend a little more time on some information security training.
Podcasts. Bring back podcasts, everyone. We're coming back.
Maybe just watch a news channel that talks about the news, but really,
and it comes on every Monday. Around like 4 p.m. 4:30 start time.
We will make sure that we only talk nice things about Elon.
We're gonna make the Sans Podcast News channel next year. I'm telling you right now, we're going for it.
I think to answer Ralph's question though, I don't think a platform that doesn't have heavy centralization will ever get beyond like 100 million users, because or like a huge number like a Facebook or a Twitter, because the average population needs to be like shepherded into like where they're going to exist. They need to be told like, here's how you sign up. You create your account. We're going to guide you through that process. We're going to give you suggested followers and suggested tweets and all that stuff. Otherwise, you're going to sign up from Discord or on whatever. You're going to connect and you're going to be like, okay, I'm on the server. I don't know what to do now. So I don't think it's I don't think it's going to get huge. I think that like Wade said though, you could definitely have sort of a disparate like breaking up of sort of central social media into these little small kingdoms of like there's the Discord people and there's the Mastodon people and there's the IRC people that have never asked what life was and there's the email people. I think that's the way it's going to go. That's my opinion, but I could be wrong.
Social media is for just like targeted individual groups, hence the knowledge sharing Discord channel, right? Where I think that's probably the more targeted audience where you can share.
Right. But the thing is the brand.
It's going to be hard.
Like, people build these huge brands and they use social media as free advertising.
Yeah.
So that you have to like figure that into it too.
Why don't we get all the vendors together and then have them sponsor us and just like make a social media, and then it's just like all the cybersecurity vendors just like sponsor this one social media, and then you can have all your ads there, but then all the Infosec people talk on it. That's
Wait,
I guess that's LinkedIn.
You worked with cybersecurity vendors though.
I work with cybersecurity vendors all the time.
They're gonna all make their own.
You're absolutely. How do we get MITRE to make a social media?
The MITRE social MITRE attack.
Now,
online.
no, the
Could
question
you imagine?
is, can MITRE make social media in a safe manner? Come on. I mean, that's a legit question. But getting back to Ralph's original question, though, any type of social media, regardless, is always eventually going to turn into a dumpster fire because, I hate to say it, that's where people are at. I mean, I remember in the early days of forums, people went from nice, friendly people. Oh, my dog barked. Sorry, it might be me. Anyway, the people go, once they got on the internet, the presumed anonymity immediately turned nice people into jackholes almost immediately. They go from 0 to flame war in 3 seconds. Any social media is going to have the same problem.
So we should have shut down all social media.
By that same breath, I've seen that happen in forums, in IRC, in Discord, in Slack. It's not unique to Twitter or Mastodon or Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or whatever. It's human nature no matter what you do. Heck, it happens in person if you think about it.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, I mean, we had Keybase, remember? Because it's like identity verification. The whole idea is like, if you know, because obviously if I'm tweeting at someone named like Fart Poop, I'm going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm better than you. But if I'm tweeting at like Linus Torvalds, I'm going to be like, please let me read your pull requests. So like, but like so I don't know, maybe the identity thing is a piece of it where like it's the dehumanization to be like, no, you're just a little box on the screen. I don't care what you think. I hate you. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a way to get rid of that. Maybe not. I don't know.
How do you humanize social media? That's right.
Yeah.
You put your address in the profile so you can show
as someone who's worked a lot of customer service and taken a lot of orders over a headset, I'll tell you this, like the moment they see you in person, everyone's attitude changes no matter what they're yelling at you.
Whopper!
Yes.
So, okay, the next social media is going to be VR based. Woo!
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Metaverse. Oh, sorry.
On the next Donahue.
Yeah.
We got to do one episode in the metaverse. We just have to do one.
We lost Bronwyn.
We did lose Bronwyn.
She
we got to move on to the next
Musk
article, guys. We'll never
us.
stop talking about this.
Yeah. It's been 25 minutes talking about
I know,
Twitter.
guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm like, we should push this because Elon's gonna obviously shut us all down.
I don't even use Twitter. Full disclosure.
Full disclosure.
There are some Mastodons if you're interested in moving away. Just Google it.
There's Mastodon. So did you guys talk about Dropbox last week?
Nope. Let's talk about Dropbox.
Ooh.
What happened? There was another breach like from 2016. Good times.
Yes. They actually got in a DeLorean, went back to 2016, and got breached again.
Interesting.
Yes. No. So hackers so there's actually kind of 2 articles related to this, but hackers unauthorized access to 130 GitHub source code repositories, right? So I guess that the Dropbox breach was a little bit more involved. Hold on.
So it's kind of like it's like the Twitch breach, right? It's similar to that, where it's not like a data leakage. It's just like repository access. Maybe they compromise a developer account, something like that.
Could be.
It says they were warrant phishing, stealing GitHub credentials. Yeah, I mean that's pretty
API
interesting.
keys
Like,
grabbed.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there was a lot of juicy stuff in those repos that they've scooped up.
So yeah, this happened to Twitch too, where like it wasn't
Mhm.
like user. They just disclosed all their GitLab. I think it was their GitLab instance, but it's kind of interesting attack to just go after specific repository instead of like generic accounts.
So welcome to the world of CI/CD pipelines and API keys and all the other fun stuff that comes along with it. Like, I think they're amazing, but from a security perspective, right? Access to one could get you access to just like a waterfall of other things.
Yeah.
So was it not a phish? Was it not a targeted? It says these legitimate
was
looking
a
emails
phish.
directed employees to visit a fake Circle CI login page, enter their GitHub username and password,
Yep.
and then
It was a fish.
So it's a phish, but it's giving access to GitHub.
Yep.
So enable MFA.
Which
That's all-
allowed
that's
them
all
to
they
get
have.
the API keys.
Yeah.
So to give like to be the CSO in the room,
fatigue.
is this why we shouldn't use GitHub?
Oh,
Like, GitHub's
maybe.
bad.
That's why you.
What? No, the reason why you use
have
GitHub.
Google Chrome, like, yes. Yes, it is.
Well, so the reason you use GitHub and all these CI/CD pipelines is because you were able to fire 5 people, because now you don't need those 5 people to manually do some process, right? And so that was like the whole point, right? But it's not GitHub. Like, the CI/CD pipelines aren't the problem, right? Just the access to these and how ubiquitous that access is and how simple it is. That's really what you're going after. So
it all comes back to people.
Yeah, it does. And it's interesting. This one, it says the company says they're upgrading to hardware security keys for phishing resistance.
Yeah. There's several companies that have upgraded to YubiKeys since being phished with all the big MFA attacks going right now. So that's going to be the hot new thing, is pushing those out.
so
YubiKey's been making some serious cash recently.
Oh, yeah.
So just
It's
to
hard.
head up on
If you've ever worked with YubiKeys, it's a little rough sometimes. Too,
don't lose it.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
Don't
Hold on.
lose
So
it.
universal two-factor requires a backup, and the backup is another universal two-factor key, or other some kind of like enterprise managed solution, right? So that you can't like make a copy of the key. So if you are using universal two-factor, right, and you don't have a backup way to log in, you'll need 2 keys, and you add both of those to your account, and then you just keep one as a backup. So just a heads up.
I guess it's better than push spam or something,
Well, it's better than SMS. All right. So the other thing is too is like the phone, the
SMS.
porting, right? Yeah, SMS porting and stuff like that, right? So that's another piece of it. So.
Well, and there is a way you can back up the YubiKey to like a file type backup. Then you can just like upload it to your Google Drive unsecurely, and it'll be great. But
if there is, please send me the documentation, because I've been looking for that.
I'll show you. I figured it out a while back how to do it. It's
beautiful.
It's an option, but you can do it.
Post it for everybody, because
Ralph, just send it to me, because I can just back yours up for you.
Oh,
just make sure your Bitcoin wallet's in there.
Yeah, no, I keep my Bitcoin wallet on my.
Using it is plug your YubiKey into a host that you can like remote into, and then you just pull it up.
Oh, so you just RDP onto a host that already has the YubiKey.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Fancy.
But you have to like tape something over the thing so it thinks.
Yeah, so it's always pressing the button. It's just nonstop spamming the universal.
I would just recommend have your YubiKey putting the passwords onto Twitter, and then just have an API that pulls down the tweets.
Yes, because they're always changing. That way you'll never catch what it is.
Right. Do you think that's trustworthy?
I mean, it's public, so it must be trustworthy.
It's obscure, though, so no one will ever know.
It's against the rules to impersonate someone.
That's why you have to label it YubiKey.
You got to label it. Put
YubiKey.
YubiKey accounts will be banned unless they're labeled YubiKey.
YubiKey _1_2_3.
On the next edition of talking about what not to do in security.
Right.
Sadly, we don't have any updates from the ransomware region of Eastern Europe. We don't have any new products.
I think honestly, it's during the holidays, and there's a whole other war thing they've been fighting. So maybe
is it noteworthy to talk about that there wasn't a ransomware attack this week?
The Denmark,
or that we didn't find one. It hasn't been reported yet.
There wasn't
We haven't
one in
found
big
out
news.
about it yet, Corey.
Yeah.
Just wait. That train's never late.
So I heard that news sites are injecting malware. This is this different from paywalls? Is malware is paywalls not considered malware yet?
You have to have a paywall blocker to prevent the paywall malware.
Oh, okay. So
and
this
that's
is
also how
this is
you
our
read the article for free.
This is our supply chain attack buzzword that we've covered.
Bingo,
So,
get the board.
Apparently, threat actors are using compromised infrastructure of an undisclosed media company, which I don't know how that's
Sock
undisclosed.
ghoulish.
They're just deploying a JavaScript ransomware, or I just said ransomware, malware framework, aka fake updates, which that's like a normal phishing ruse from 2015. Basically, there's a company that provides video and content advertising to major outlets. Their stuff was compromised and is now injecting JavaScript. So JavaScript is pretty scary based on everything now that is done in JavaScript. It's pretty heavily like sandboxed and stuff, but does anyone know this sock ghoulish framework? What does it do? Can I buy it?
I mean, you probably can buy it if you get on the right forum. Which is weird. They're all on forums now. Like
the normal JavaScript ransomware stuff would be like, stealing cookies, opening tabs to sketchy websites, all the good stuff. Stealing your browser data.
Sounds like I really need to work on the talk I've been threatening to make for years. All web browsers are evil. I mean,
anytime you've been threatening to make a talk for years, Bronwyn, it's worth doing.
Yeah, you should do it.
You have to thread it. It's worth it.
So someone asked, is this different from the ad network delivered malware of the early 2000s? Not really. It's pretty much the same. It's
Same
JavaScript
game.
now. Instead of Flash or Silverlight or ActiveX, now it's just Cold Fusion. Yeah, now it's JavaScript. So it's cross-platform, and it's scarier because it's cross-platform, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't need a plugin extension to read it.
No, I got the extension as malware. That was the whole...
Oh, it gives you the extension. Okay.
Yes. This extension helped get you free Netflix. No, I'm just kidding.
If you're wondering if your user base would install an extension to view the news, you need to care about this news article.
I mean, like Ralph said, though, if you even made an extension like this will give you free Netflix, you'll get a ton of downloads just from people like, I want free Netflix.
So, okay, the question I have is, how do you defend against this? How do you defend against, going to a website that is bad?
So I actually have a thing for this. I should really make the blog post for it, and this might be the thing to push it over. But you can actually, if you're doing enterprise management and you're using like Google Chrome or Edge or any of those Chromium based, you can actually lock up. You can restrict the installation of extensions, and then you can lock the dev tools so they can't sideload.
Oh wow!
Via registry keys and GPOs and stuff like that. So there's actually some stuff you can do to protect against this, prevent extensions from just getting loaded in.
So I wonder how many of these, because this is we don't know the capabilities of this. I'm assuming it's trying to do an extension, like Noah said, because an extension gives you much more control over the browser. It lets you execute commands and do all kinds of stuff. But it is possible that it's just instead of being an extension, it's just like your, end day browser exploit could be. So we don't know much about this framework, the sock ghoulish framework, but it's been around for a long time. It's as a service. You can purchase it.
It's good.
It says it's been, they've detected it on over 25,000 sites. On lots of different campaigns. It's JavaScript. It's on Malware Bazaar if you're interested to dig into it. So, continuing, Ralph, you got a story?
Ooh.
TikTok privacy policies. What could go
Oh.
wrong?
No.
Oh God. It
We all
seems
know
like
it. China has all our data. It's okay.
Did we
China
talk about
has-
the FCC just like continuously trying to get TikTok banned? Like, are they just not getting the followers they want?
they're not getting the momentum they thought they were gonna get, to like really move it off the platform.
So this is a new policy that was put in by TikTok that basically is very clear confirmation that GDPR is being violated.
Is that really a surprise?
The idea here is very simple, which is that employees of TikTok who are in China can access user data of Europeans or Americans or anywhere else. So that is a pretty. It says, here's their justification for it. Based on a demonstrated need to do their job, subject to a series of robust security controls and approval protocols, and by way of methods that are recognized under the GDPR, we allow certain employees located within every country in the world to access European user data, the company said. So they're basically like, we're breaking GDPR, but we found a loophole, so good luck.
Jeez. Oh, my goodness.
We're just
I guess I'll be interested to see if the GDPR people in Europe figure out how they're actually violating it, because this seems like it shouldn't be possible. But I guess if it's like PCI and it just says you have to have a policy in place and they just break their own policy, it kind of is like a get out of jail free card. So
I mean, this isn't even the sketchiest thing that I've seen the TikTok app do, though. I mean, I haven't checked it recently, but you can just like install Wireshark and the app on like an Android phone and just see it doing all sorts of sketchy stuff. So this really doesn't this almost makes sense to me. But
well, no,
if you weren't concerned before, why would you be concerned now? Is really the question I'm posing.
Didn't you hear that they have robust security controls and approval protocols?
Yeah, anyone could say that. So there's also advanced persistent threats, or highly sophisticated attackers that happen to install commodity malware on all of these corporate assets. I don't.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll say if they get in trouble. Is we were hacked.
Right. Yeah. No. We were hacked. And
Pretty much.
They created the connection.
I guess, am I the only one, though, who, I mean, as privacy law goes, GDPR definitely broke ground. And everyone in this room definitely knows that our laws have not caught up with the advances in the technology. But the problem is, the laws don't stop people from doing bad things. And I guess that's the thing that really annoys me, is that we have the laws, but people are going to do squirrely things and shady things anyway. The only difference is that if you have the money and you can afford the lawyers, you can go after these people, assuming you can make the charges stick.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think someone will go after TikTok. They seem like kind of an easy target. Like they literally said, like, we're following GDPR, come at us. Like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me.
Yeah, that's basically what TikTok said, is come at me, bro. Like to the GDPR people. So see if
from what I'm gathering.
I got talk about the trains.
Talk about
trains.
Wait, do you like trains? Do you want to share? Share some pictures of a train that you?
What red-blooded American doesn't love trains? All right, if you don't like trains.
So are we hacking trains? What's going on here?
I was in Denmark this weekend. All right, here's the story. I was in Denmark this weekend, as one does when one wants some of those Danishes, and apparently I tried to get on the train, and the company Supeo, which provides enterprise asset management solutions to railway companies, cough, MSSP, was compromised and stopped trains from operating.
Let's tell the real story, all right? Corey missed the train. He DDoSed them so he could get back, and they'd all stop, and then he got on it once they were DDoSed. He's like, all right, we're good. We all know that's what really happened. I don't know. I like this article just because you don't hear a lot of hacks affecting the physical world, right? and this is definitely one of those, and it's something to keep an eye on just because it's like a third-party IT person you wouldn't, or third-party IT service you wouldn't normally expect them to bring down an entire train system.
Yes,
from a DDoS at that. We were just talking about how. I'm sorry, it says cyberattack. Who knows if it was a DDoS, but it's probably ransomware. To tell you the truth,
maybe.
Yeah, it's probably ransomware.
So this, I think for me, the discussion that this brings up more than anything is how far is too far to outsource? Because it sounds like they outsourced their OT infrastructure to this third party, which just like, I guess I'm like, okay, outsourcing Windows management and updates, I get it. Like, it's annoying. You don't really care about Windows. You just want to drive trains.
Yeah.
Then it's like, now you've outsourced the trains. Like, you've actually been like, no, we're a company that does trains. We can't manage trains. Like, I don't understand that.
Right.
Why would you outsource OT?
They didn't outsource OT. What Supero did was they went ahead and our asset management. So knowing what you have out there, whether it be OT or IT. What bugs me about this is not the fact that it can happen. It's the fact of how easily it could happen, especially here in the States. The actual railway structure, and I'm sorry, my kid's so into trains, I've wound up learning a lot about them over the last couple of years. The actual train infrastructure for switches, etc., is extremely old, and when people have tried to go ahead and connect to that to try and force trains to run into each other, it hasn't happened. On the other hand, Union Pacific and BNSF and all the other trains here in the States have switched over to precision rail scheduling over the last number of years, which is a lot more controlled by computer systems. And that's where the hackers could actually get in and start really messing with stuff. And it sounds something similar to what they did here, was that Supo had access in to be able to manage assets, and through that they were able to go ahead and take down networks.
So
or
it
at
says
least cause a problem with it.
Yeah, so we don't know a lot of details about the attack, but it does say that the attack impacted the Digital Backpack 2 platform, which is provided by them, which allows train drivers to access critical information using an iPhone or iPad. So it's possible that this, like, I could definitely see it, like you said, that there's this system and app that tells you, like, is the track ahead clear? Yes or no? And you have to use that to check before you start driving down that track. That's an assumption that I've just made, but I could definitely see that being a reason why they would actually stop trains, because if you're using a system to check if it's safe to proceed and you can't check that, you have to not proceed.
You think the systems to stop cars would also be on that same system as well, right? Or anything else? Like, that's my first thought, is gates to shut down roads, but in San Diego, there's a lot of trains, so there's a lot of gates. But
I would guess it's probably more of a procedural thing where they stopped the trains. I don't think it's like someone hit a bit that forced all the trains to slam on their brakes at 1:01 p.m. I think it's like a train operator opened up his phone and said, "Let's see if the track is clear ahead." Oh, it says 404 not found. Hey, can I keep going even though the track says it isn't clear ahead? No, you can't. Trains shut down. That's my guess, but I mean, we don't. That's
probably the best guess.
That's probably probably an extremely good guess on it, especially with the way that railroad scheduling has been advancing over the years. As far as the gates to stop traffic from crossing, that's all sitting on the old network, and that actually uses an IR system called FRED, which is on the back end of each thing to go ahead and raise and lower the gates.
Mike, you know a little too much about this. That's all I'm saying.
I told you.
Where are you in? Were you in Denmark this weekend?
I've been learning a lot about trains over the last few years.
People love trains.
Does Digital Backpack 2 have a bug bounty that you're about to cash in on?
No, but it's something I might look into.
Yeah, this is very interesting. The speculation is that the provider of that application was subject to a ransomware attack. So that's the speculation. We don't really know. But if you were in the Netherlands or Denmark or wherever this was, Denmark, right?
Denmark.
If you're in Denmark, first of all, I'm sorry you couldn't ride the train because it's probably relatively cold this time of year. But I guess it came back. I mean, how long was it down? That's the other question. Like, Was it? It doesn't.
It
doesn't
doesn't
down.
matter. We can
down.
jump off. We can jump off it.
It's still down.
See, if you stop freight, like imagine if freight is still, so to continue on with it, freight's a huge thing and moves still a lot of goods, especially across the U.S., right?
No way.
Freight trains? Yeah. And I would imagine that would be a pretty gnarly crippling function if you were able to do this to a freight system, at least at a large scale. I'm guessing Mike will have something to say about this, and I'm completely wrong, but
No, you're absolutely right on it. And you can see that as far as the basic breakdown of freight across the U.S. that has helped spur inflation and not allowing people to get Raspberry Pis and some of this other stuff that's sitting on these ships that are sitting off the harbors of San Diego, L.A., San Francisco, etc., because of the amount of people that they don't have right now to work on the trains themselves. Going ahead and shutting down anything train-wise through a computer attack will go ahead and create the same, if not a worse situation for it all. If they can't schedule things out properly, if they don't know where the trains are located, and if it's safe to go ahead, then you've just crippled everything. You can say, well, switch over to truck drivers. Yeah. There's a shortage of truck drivers also.
I mean, that because then you have to spin those truck drivers up because those truck drivers are already in use. I mean, like the entire U.S. logistics system, well, and I'm assuming in other places too, but especially in the U.S. because of how we like to do like drop shipping everything nowadays, which is really great. By the way, Flipper Zero, I still need my Flipper Zero if you're watching. But like any sort of logistics pipeline, you get like locked up in port for 3 days longer than you expect, and you're just thrown off. Any of that.
It's kind of the Wild West. Logistics is basically the complete, like, there's no organization. It's like, we found a guy with the truck. He'll be in touch in like 3 hours or 3 months, depending on whether you're lucky.
If it's affecting more than just one product, then everyone wants that guy with the truck. And then they start competing in prices. And the guy's like, well, I would take your load, but this guy gave me more money for his. So
yours is sitting at a depot, at a truck stop. So I think
you don't even want to know. You don't even want to know how unsafe those depots are.
Yeah. So speaking of scary things, let's talk about Facebook.
Wait, what? No, we're not talking about Facebook.
Our favorite CEO who doubles as a ghost for Halloween every year.
No, we're not.
No more social media. We hit the social media limit.
Hold on. This is good. All right. Besides, obviously, them doing lots of bad stuff. Okay. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Facebook was scraped a little while ago, and all your cell phone numbers. Yes, Meta. Sorry.
If you don't have this data, I will.
Yeah, according to this article, I don't think they know that because they say Facebook's parent company Meta. And I'm
I get it.
Sure that Facebook just straight up is Meta.
We're so meta now. Okay. Anyways, so Facebook, or AKA Meta, has decided to release a tool to let you know if they have your cell phone number. And what you can do is, like, in this very small font, you can click here if you have any questions about your rights. And it'll search to see if your phone number, mobile phone number, is in their database. If it finds it, you can supposedly delete it, which means let them know that you're onto them. And yes, it's kind of interesting.
Facebook probably has your phone number.
No, they do. And in fact, that was the thing in the article. That they have numbers for people who didn't even sign up, right?
So it's because you when you sign up for Facebook, you want to find your friends on Facebook. And how do you do that? You upload your entire address book, obviously.
Yeah.
I never upload my address.
And this is why, like, even if you say you don't want to be on social media, like if I were to make this decision, be like, I don't want to be on social media, it doesn't really keep me entirely off of social media because you still have family and friends and everyone else that impact all of that.
I would say a phone number is not private anymore. That's like gone.
It's really not.
It just happens to not include your name by default. Okay, it's not like you can decode your name from the number. That's about it, right?
Right.
But yeah.
So at least we can use burner phone numbers. But this is an interesting privacy thing where it's like, it's almost like
the website just went down.
Oh, of course it did.
I'm trying it right now. No, it's unable to process my request.
It's been
What,
processing
Business
it,
Insider? No, I'm
Does
just
it have a picture of Mark Zuckerberg sitting there like I'm sorry, I can't process your request right now?
Well,
I'm
I do
sorry.
have a question. Maybe you could enumerate phone numbers with this. Like, does it come back with a name or an email?
Is
That'd
it
be
someone
It
dig into
crashed. I don't know.
Someone dig into this. I'm sure it responds with a JSON object that's just every phone number in their database, and it's like 5 terabytes.
just one blob, one single blob of everyone's
But it's
number, all
encrypted.
comma
See?
separated.
It's encrypted, and then you have to decrypt it client side. It's all JavaScript. Don't worry about it.
It's good.
Yeah, I mean, not surprising. Use a burner phone number. That's the way to go for
I
everything.
don't use Facebook. I don't know. Anyways, I just think it's
because,
funny.
like Noah said, you can okay. Here's the solution. First of all, don't have any friends. Second of all, give all your friends a burner number.
Easy. You don't even need to give them a burner number if you don't have friends, dude. I beat you.
True. Step one is easy. And don't PSA though, for real. Don't upload.
Have no friends and no family, or give all your family burner phone numbers.
PSA for everyone: do not upload your address book to anything that is on the internet. Don't do that.
Don't you want us to?
But what about Google Cloud Backup?
No, don't do
What
it.
about iCloud?
You don't need your friends' numbers. You're not going to call them.
You don't call them now. Why do you think that if you make a connection, you would hang out more? You're not.
Clear out your address book. Just clear it out. Have like 5 people in there. That's what I do.
This week's security tip: everyone just hit select all, delete in your address book.
Yes.
So, anyways, our favorite.
Plus, then you get the fun of like you have to memorize people's phone numbers, and then when there's an emergency, you already know their phone numbers. It's super easy.
I think they call that address book 0 now. It's a movement.
Or you could just write it down and no one can have it digitally.
What if there was a system of like a rotating bunch of cards you could have that like spun around? Wouldn't that be really cool? We should go back to
that like a
Rolodex.
Rolla. Yeah.
Yep. All right, no, but we should talk about how this is a news article that's not going to shock anyone. China is stockpiling vulnerabilities.
What?
But this is
Russia was doing that.
But the slightly more interesting part says Microsoft.
Right. Well, China says they have a law that says you can't tell anyone about a vulnerability you found unless you tell China first, which it's a little interesting, right? I'm sure there's some bug bounty people going around that, but
it is very interesting because like some of the best
countrywide NDA.
Some of the best vulnerability researchers are Chinese. Like, what is it? Orange Sai, I think he's. They're Chinese, and I don't know their gender or name, but like that, they win hack. What is it? Hack the whatever every year. They're insane.
Hack the whatever. Yeah.
Hack the whatever. I think is the official name.
It doesn't matter. There's just anything. They win it.
Smash. I forget what it's called. Smash.
They've got more
Smash the hack.
than they
Smash the hack. Smash the hack button. I don't know what it's called, but it is. I will say it is interesting to hear Microsoft blow the whistle on this and say,
this
is in their 2022 Digital Defense Report, which you can receive a copy if you send them your address book.
Rolodex. We talked about that.
It asserts that Chinese law might be enabling the Chinese government to weaponize the vulnerabilities. The quote is basically, the increased use of 0 days over the last year from China-based actors likely reflects the first full year of China's vulnerability disclosure requirements for the Chinese security community and a major step in the use of 0-day exploits as a state priority, says Microsoft. They listed a bunch of ones, the SolarWinds one, Zoho, ADFS, or AD Self-Service Plus.
Exchange.
A bunch of... So this is their assertion, is that China is hoarding this stuff. I guess what I would say is welcome to the club, China. We've been doing this for years.
You don't have to give anything to get the report. I just downloaded it.
Oh, you didn't have to give up your whole address book?
No
what
address
about
book.
all your friends?
No address book. It's 11-page PDF. That's it. I would not recommend this one.
That's what it was.
Definitely
for me,
the
they made me install an extension to get it.
Oh, that's why you didn't have to put your name. It's actually 114 page. You got the abridged version.
I had to confirm my phone number with them, and then they text me something, and I had to send them back my contacts. But
It is interesting to see Microsoft just wading like neck deep into the attribution game and just being like, you have 0 days. Like, it's a very interesting
You
thing.
are bad people.
It's also like
holding 0 days. Like, I'm not accusing them of hoarding them. I'm accusing them of just being like, well, I'll fix that one of these days. But still, they have a pile of them too, and you know it.
Well,
they sell them to the government. They sell them to the government.
But it's like politically okay now there. That's them saying like we don't care about the rest of the world just because they have that law. Whereas I think that's the interesting factor of this.
Exactly. It's Microsoft being like, there were more exploits and you have this crappy law, so we're gonna point the finger at you and just say that you're the reason why.
We've slowly been losing people. Oh.
Lose the satellites.
I come back.
Elon's going
I'm here.
after her.
I'm just hiding.
So,
All right.
does anyone
just
else
killed
have
all
any
the talk.
stories? It's 55 minutes. Ryan, you ruined everything. 55 minutes long.
55 minutes. I didn't have any.
Let's do this one.
All right,
Hackers
we got
selling
one last
access
one.
to 576 corporate networks for $4 million.
That
No,
sounds like
I
a
think-
bargain, dude.
It does.
I don't think it's like one lump sum. I think it's like, oh, they did all the math for all the initial asset access brokers and how much it would cost
it
to
says,
buy it all, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is another report which you can get if you submit your address book to this company. This is based on research from the cyber intelligence firm Kila, based out of Israel. The report was titled their ransomware report, but this is something we've discussed before, the whole initial access brokers. Let's do some rough napkin math here. 574 million divided by 576. Okay, so it's 80 grand. Oh, wait, no. That's
It is
another
definitely
zero.
not that much.
It's $6,900, $7,000 per company. That's actually more than I would have expected.
No,
to be
it is a
honest.
lot. That is
time-
completely right. That because it's like $10 to $20 most of the time.
Well, but it's
it's
$4
dead
million.
cheap.
They said the average time to sell the access was 1.6 days.
I don't know if that's true either.
That's what it says.
So the numbers
It's
are
written on
somewhat
the
made
internet.
up.
It's written on
That
the
must be
numbers.
true.
Abraham Lincoln.
Wait,
This is aggregate. So I mean, they could have just gone on Google and searched initial access brokers and then pulled some random numbers.
This is how you
but-
make articles. You just Google more articles.
the thing
Yeah.
is,
So
if it's selling that quickly, is their marketing technique such that it's like, hey, we're reaching out to people who we think want access to this network, or is there like a want to buy section? Like,
Yes,
really
it's
want
a-
to buy?
Both.
Yes, a want to buy
yeah.
section in the forums, and then people
Yeah.
are just
Yep.
going through there, and then they're like, "Fire sale! We're giving the next 100 for only $5 each." You know?
fire sale.
Someone
So-
should really start a subscription service for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I will say it is interesting that like they basically part of the findings of this, if you look at the graph of prices of network access listings, it does actually corroborate the whole massive price increase. Like it basically goes like the way that you would interpret it is in Q1, these prices were like the prices have fluctuated. There was $3,000 one quarter, then it was $1,500. Now it's $2,800. The numbers are all over the place. I don't think this data is necessarily super.
Third quarter is usually the busiest quarter. It's when you're getting all your deals done. So they're really trying to get their quotas, those ransomware operators.
Yeah, I don't know what this data is based on. I also don't know how they would get the. I assume they're just like scraping forum data and pulling down like the asking price and not actually like the real transaction price.
I wonder
Russian
if they actually have
marketplace
like
and-
business development teams inside of these ransom operations, right? Like, you know,
They have
like,
to.
they're
They're
like,
ransomware operators, right? They're the
Yeah,
They're like
for
they're like
service. Yeah.
$7,000 for access. That's way too expensive. You can get it for $300 next year.
yeah. No, I mean, like, could you imagine them just like working up? All right, here's the deal. We're gonna post over here. We're gonna do it over here, and we need you guys need to make at least 300 more accesses so we can make our bonuses this year, guys.
This
Don't
is
you guys want
BS.
bonuses?
All this inflation stuff, the price of email access has gone up by twice in the year. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I guess like to speculate randomly like we do on this show, maybe the
Every
reason
day.
the prices are going up is because companies are putting security things in place. Like MFA costs like twice as much if you have to bypass it. I don't know. Like, who knows? Maybe it says that most common access techniques are RDP and VPN.
So when you
Those are my
usually
favorite.
buy those, right? They usually give you password and login. They give you there's two different types. There's some they give you straight access to the browser of the target, and you can pretend to be them. There's other ones that just give you all the information on their computer and give you a backdoor to it. But they usually give you all passwords located on the computer, the IP address, and the location of it, plus any users. and then you get to see, do you want it or not? Once you purchase it, that's when they give you the passwords for it, and you can log in and do whatever. So
yeah,
that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Like it's very interesting to see how it would be different and probably more expensive for corporate computers or corporate accounts versus like just some random grandma that clicked on an ad for cookies.
So as far as I've seen, like the costs have never been that high, even because think about like the Cisco breach, right? They compromised someone's personnel's computer because his Cisco password was on there. You can see what passwords and the user has for what websites. Mm-hmm. So it's almost easier to buy stuff because you're going after personnel computers and not corporate assets. But
yeah,
personnel or personal?
Personal computers, because
technically
personal computers.
Personal, yeah.
Well, you know what his password
because
was,
they're
Cisco.
an employee. But yeah, so I think that's been an hour. I think we've all gotten banned from Twitter.
Twice.
I changed my name to John Strand.
We've all gotten banned from Twitter. Bronwyn still has internet, luckily, even after that discussion. And
the white ghost has risen.
It's not Halloween anymore. And
well,
Blake
I know,
shaved
but
his
I'm milking this joke. All right.
Thanks everyone for coming. Thanks everyone for listening. This episode's sponsored by everyone in the audience. You all sponsored this episode, so thanks.
Yes,
you guys are the
amazing.
best.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Have a good week,
and
talk to you guys next week.
See ya.